Hi, I'm Angel from Courtroom 5, and welcome back to Who Wrote That Up For You, where we explore stories about people navigating civil court without lawyers. I've always loved David versus Goliath stories, where someone takes on seemingly insurmountable odds. Today's case is just that. It's the case of Smith versus World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, featuring David Adrian Smith, who took on some of the biggest names in wrestling and football, including Vince McMahon, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and even ESPN, all by himself. This case highlights the challenges of representing yourself in court, especially when facing powerful defendants. Let's take a closer look. Back in 2016, Smith had an idea for a spring football league. He thought it was groundbreaking, complete with market analysis, a business plan, and financial projections. He believed his concept could rival the NFL, but Smith needed help to bring it to life. So he shared his plans with Carol Riddick, wife of Frank Riddick, a key executive at WWE. Smith disclosed his trade secrets under the expectation that Carol would keep everything confidential. Then, in 2018, Vince McMahon announced the return of the XFL. Soon after, two spring football leagues, the XFL and the AAF, emerged. Smith noticed similarities to his idea and thought, hey, that sounds like my plan. He suspected his confidential plans had been shared without permission. He believed the Riddicks had passed it through their networks, influencing figures like McMahon, Scott Jackson, and others in the sports world. But proving misappropriation of trade secrets is no small feat. It's not just about showing your ideas were copied. It's about proving that someone misused confidential information to gain an advantage. Smith decided to take on this legal battle himself. In 2022, he filed a lawsuit in Texas state court against 20 defendants, alleging misappropriation of trade secrets, intellectual property theft, and violations of the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations RICO Act. He sought over $15 million in damages, royalties, and an injunction to prevent further use of his ideas. Taking on this case without a lawyer was a bold move, but it wasn't without serious challenges. First, Smith's RICO claim posed a major hurdle. To succeed, RICO claims require evidence of a pattern of racketeering activity, like fraud or extortion, tied to an ongoing criminal enterprise. This is a high bar, especially for someone representing themselves. I've been in court myself without a lawyer, and let me tell you, it's a daunting experience. You're up against seasoned legal teams trying to decipher complex rules of procedures, all while advocating for yourself. The law is a powerful tool, and you have the right to use it even if you can't afford an attorney. Courtroom 5 can help you interpret, apply, and argue the law for yourself. It's all about empowering individuals to navigate the legal system with confidence. Back to the case. The second and most formidable hurdle Smith faced was timing. He filed his lawsuit 4 years after he first learned of the alleged misappropriation. Unfortunately for him, Texas law has a 3-year statute of limitations for trade secret claims. Once that deadline passes, your case is typically dead in the water. Smith faced a small army of lawyers representing his high-profile defendants. Many filed motions to dismiss, arguing the claims were barred by the statute of limitations. Smith tried to argue for exceptions to the statute of limitations. He invoked equitable tolling, claiming the defendant's actions prevented him from filing on time. He also argued equitable estoppel, suggesting their behavior misled him into thinking he had more time. While these arguments are valid in certain circumstances, they are extremely difficult to prove, especially against seasoned legal teams. The Texas state court largely agreed with the defendants. It dismissed Smith's claims against 18 of the 20 defendants with prejudice, meaning he couldn't refile those claims. The judge also dismissed the case against the Canadian Football League, CFL, for lack of jurisdiction, as the court didn't have the authority to hear claims against a Canadian entity. But Smith didn't stop. He filed a separate lawsuit in federal court, but that, too, was dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Undeterred, Smith appealed the state court's decision. Eventually, the appellate court ruled that Smith's claims were filed too late and that his arguments for tolling the statute didn't hold up. He never even got a chance to argue the RICO claims. Here are some important takeaways from this case. 1. Know the clock. Act quickly when a legal problem arises. Smith missed the deadline because, as a pro se litigant, he wasn't even aware there was a deadline, let alone that he had a legal problem he could act on. This is a common challenge for people without legal representation. Often they don't realize their rights have been violated until it's too late. The legal system has strict timelines for filing claims, known as statutes of limitations, and missing these deadlines can completely block your ability to seek justice. If you think you might have a legal problem, find out what deadlines apply to your case as soon as possible. Don't wait. Doing so can make the difference between having your day in court and losing your chance to be heard entirely. 2. Provide facts. As in all claims, you must provide facts. In trade secret cases, like the Smith filed, it's not enough to claim someone stole your idea. You must clearly articulate what makes your concept unique and confidential. Generic claims won't hold up. Provide specific facts that establish the originality and value of your trade secrets. 3. Understand legal complexity. Smith's determination was admirable. Yet, it wasn't enough. You can represent yourself, but it requires more than determination or simply signing your signature and filing with the court. It requires a strong grasp of and adherence to legal procedures, evidentiary standards, and procedural rules. This has been Who Wrote That Up for You? Goodbye until next time.